Welcome to Holiday World 2016. Over the course of 3 days, we have about 50,000 people going through the hall here. And one of the most important sections of our Holiday World is the home holiday section. The vast majority of tourism activity in this country is not going to the exotic places we've been talking about and we see up and down the length of the hall, the direct flights to Cancun, direct flights to Jamaica, Vancouver, all those exotic places. The vast majority of holiday activity in Ireland is actually staying at home, going to the home holidays, going to those beautiful locations up and down the country, the 32 counties, and participating in what the buzzword is experiential tourism, but are participating in the wide range of activities that is now on offer through all the Irish tourism interests, the lobby groups and the stakeholders, and there's an entire section of the hall here. You'll meet them all here, hoteliers, visitor attraction, Irish language colleges, and lots and lots of things to do. All of this activity doesn't happen by accident. It is organised by a structural background. It stems from a structural background which has been funded, fuelled, and I'd use the word driven, by a very energetic Minister for Tourism. And we're very, very privileged this morning to have Minister Michael Ring in the room to talk to us and to wish us well and effectively cut the tape on the home holiday experience and the home holiday section of the fair. Michael Ring is part of a government that did two enormous things for Irish tourism. It reduced the VAT rate to 9%. We had this situation where everybody was looking at each other saying, how is this going to affect? Is this going to reduce revenue? In fact, the activity that it stimulated, the jobs it created, and the extra revenue that it flushed through Irish tourism made up for all the money that had been lost. So well done to Michael Ring for standing up to the guys in finance. We know how tough they can be, and for winning that argument. The other important argument that he won at cabinet level, and that is reducing the air departure tax, which was stifling access to the country. All tourism growth internationally comes from access. He also oversaw a couple of initiatives. It's a few years now. The Gathering, which was a call to bring Irish people home. What the Gathering did was got every community in Ireland to look at their own area and look at their own people and say, what have we got to offer tourists? And created a whole hive of activity. And from that hive of activity, 3 new brands came. But what was interesting was that when the Wild Atlantic Way, the first of the 3 brands, launched, the way had been cleared, the grass had been cut by the community activity that had been put in place by the Gathering the previous year. And the Wild Atlantic Way is cited, and I go to international tourism fairs the world over, it is cited by tourism boards around the world as an example, as a beacon, as a sign of what you can do to take an existing product and without having to invest huge billions in infrastructure to actually turn it into something that becomes a world attraction. 2 more brands have followed hot on their heels, Ireland's Ancient East and the Dublin, the Breath of Fresh Air. But all of that is really down to a bundle of energy that we have in the room here. I've heard Michael Ring speak at ITB in Berlin, at World Travel Market, and foreign journalists who listen to ministers, they always sit up and Michael Ring takes the microphone, because he is an example of someone who believes, not just as a politician, I'm here to do this, but believes so passionately in his product that he'd actually persuade you to visit Ireland. So with great pleasure, bringing Michael Ring to speak to address you.
Thank you very much, Owen. It's very hard to follow that. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you personally for your recent awards, not alone home here in Ireland, where you were recognised by the trade itself, but also winning a major award in Britain And I want to, first of all, on behalf of the Irish government, to thank you for what you have done for tourism, what you have written about this country, and you certainly have been a great ambassador for tourism as well. And we do appreciate everything that you've done over many, many years, you and your company, and what you've written about the country, the Wild Atlantic Way, as you said, Ireland's Ancient East, the Dublin Proposition, but tourism itself. And I'd like if you give Owen a big round of applause for his 2 recent awards. I also want to take this opportunity to say to Edmund and Maureen Litwith, Maureen and Edmund, you have worked so hard for 27 years to build what we have here today, a very successful, I suppose, what we could say, it's a business, but it's also part of the tourism. Every single year, people look forward to this happening at the beginning of the year. And to Edmund and Maureen, I want to say thank you for what you do for tourism, and I'd like if you give them a big round of applause for their effort and commitment to tourism. As Minister for Tourism, this is my 4th year, coming into my 5th year. As you know, I'll be going before the interview board shortly, and the people will decide whether I'll be back in again or not. But I have to say that I've enjoyed my job as Minister for Tourism because it's a very positive industry. When I look around here today, see so many people out there working on behalf of their business, working on behalf of the country. And when you look back 5 years, when we went through very difficult times, and Owen is quite correct, the government looked at tourism and they said, this is where we can create jobs, this is where we can bring people into the country. We did reduce the VAT rate from 13.5 down to 9. We got rid of the travel tax, and we made it easier for people to come into the country. But if we did, the people that are here today, and I talk about the trade, that have worked so hard promoting their own industry, their own companies, their own businesses in very difficult time. And I'm glad to say, for the last 4 years, since 2011, we have increased the number of visitors coming into the country. We have increased the amount of people that are staying in the country to holiday around the country. And I have to say, this year we had 8.2 million people came into the country. Not the best year in the last 5, not in the last 10, the best year ever for tourism, and that's simply because so many people work so hard to bring people in, look after them and treat them well when they came into the country. To you all that's involved in the trade, I want to say thank you. And I know this year again we had a bad few weeks with weather. People are looking forward again. They're looking forward to the domestic holiday. They're looking forward to people coming back into the country again. And I want to say to you all, thank you for what you've done for the country. Thank you for what you've done for tourism. Maureen and Edmund, I want to say to you, keep up the good work, and I have to say you've done a tremendous job over the last 27 years, and please God you'll be here again next year for the 28th year, and I hope that I'll be back as Minister for Tourism to open it again for you, and that's all I can do. To you all, thank you for coming here today. I hope that you get good value. I hope that you stay in the country, and I hope that if you go abroad that you will enjoy your holidays. To you all, thank you. Thank you for supporting the country and supporting the industry. And I wish you all the best of luck. It gives me great pleasure to now open the holiday fair, and I wish you all the very best of luck, and I hope that you do a lot of business and that we have another great year and that we get at least 9 million people into the country next year. Thank you very much.